guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. My name is Meg, and today I'm doing a full face of first impressions. So if you would like to see how that goes, it's very interesting. Let's go ahead and get into it and keep watching. What's up, guys? So today has been a crap-tastic day. So I'm already off to a late start, so the lighting might be a little bit weird because, first of all, the sun was never really out today. It's been raining like since last night. It's crazy. And normally UPS comes around 2:30, but of course today I need them to bring me my box of stuff from Ulta so I can film. They don't come until like now, and it's almost 5:45, so they were very delayed today. So I'm gonna have a very late start to this video, but that is okay because we are going to move forward. So I want to start off with some skincare products because when it rains and pours in life, I feel like it's also the same way with makeup and skincare because like I literally run out of everything at the same time. So I've been slowly starting to incorporate like more of Tarte skincare because I'm honestly intrigued. I think it's kind of cool that you have a brand that's really well known for makeup, and now they're starting to launch a lot of skincare stuff. So I'm gonna go over really quickly a little Tarte haul for you guys. The thing that I repurchased is the friction stick. I love this. I think it's a great exfoliator pretty much for daily use. If you wanted to use it for daily use, you totally could. I use it probably 2 to 3 times every 2 to 3 days. I think that it's great. It just comes with a little stick, and basically you just apply it to your face. You can leave it on for a couple of minutes as a mask if you want, and then you just rinse it away. And it's a really fine exfoliator. And I also really like the Tatcha rice powder. That one's super gentle on the skin. So basically it started because I needed a refill on this, and I couldn't find it in store, so I'm not gonna just purchase this on the website and I'm gonna make my shipping worth it. So I decided to pick up a few other things because of course I like to wait until they have sales, so they had 20% off, so I was like, why not pick up more? So one thing that I'm really interested in trying, this is a blemish bully. So basically this is just supposed to be like a spot treatment for acne, and as you guys can tell, I am breaking out pretty bad. This guy over here is crazy. And I've used it last night, and I also used it this morning. Basically, it just has salicylic acid in it, which is going to help dry things up. I've used similar products to this before in the past, and you just take a thin layer, apply it over to the spot, it kind of dries, and it'll help dry out and shrink it, which I really like because I get cystic acne. And I will say, since last night using the product, I will say that this has shrunk. Is it completely gone? No, but with cystic acne, it takes a lot for it to go away fast. So this seems to be speeding up the product. So far, I'm happy with that. So next, I picked up their new mask that they released. So this is the dual mask. I love the packaging on it. It's so pretty. I love like the geo feel to it. This intrigued me because it's 2 masks in one. So the light purple is like a tightening, pore shrinking, exfoliating product, and then the gold side is supposed to be a moisturizing side. So basically they targeted or marketed this, I guess I should say, as you being able to use 2 masks at once. So ideally you would put the clay moisturizer in like your T-zone area, and then you would put the hydrating moisturizer on the outside of your face. I did use this. I used both sides. That's why my face is so, I'm like nervous about how shiny my face is. I might use a toner on it before I actually get into the makeup because this is crazy. Overall, whenever I try out a new foundation especially, I like to give it a best shot. So I use the exfoliating clay side in my T-zone area to help get rid of any dry, flaky skin because my skin is definitely going through it. And I will say, like, I really wasn't looking for it to shrink my pores because I don't think that that's like a huge troubling issue for me. And I also find that to be gimmicky. Like, I don't really think that it's actually going to get in there and shrink my pores. But I will say I paid attention and my pores were definitely smaller looking after using the clay mask. So I'm like really impressed with that. And again, it seemed to be like a pretty, it's not like a crazy harsh exfoliator like the apricot scrub by St. Ives. I feel like that's pretty intense. The beads in there are pretty big and it's pretty rough on your face. This still had very small exfoliating particles to it, but I do feel like it was definitely more of an intense scrub, and I really felt like I got my face clean. So after that, I went ahead and used the gold side, which was the moisturizing side, and it definitely felt moisturizing on my face. My face didn't feel like crazy soft or anything afterwards, but as you guys can see, I just put a very thin layer of my moisturizer on top, and my skin never looks this shiny. So it's definitely leaves a glow on your face. And the last thing from Tarte that I'm going to be trying out today is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Radiance Drops. Sorry if I'm being weird in the the lens. I have my camera hooked up to a monitor and it doesn't have it mirrored correctly, so it's like if I go over here, it's like opposite in the monitor, so it's throwing me off a little bit. So I want to try these out today, but I definitely think I need to go tone my face to get rid of some of the shine before I put this product on. And I did do a little drop on my hand last night because I was truly curious. And I was surprised that these are definitely like a really heavy oil consistency. So I'm interested to see how this is going to react with everything else that I have going on. So, and then of course I got a sample of the infamous Shape Tape foundation. By the way, like, does anyone ever use these? Like, is this actually enough product to cover your whole face? Because I feel like it would be enough product to cover like half my face. So anyways, I'm gonna go tone my face and then I will be right back. All right, so I'm gonna be starting off with my Hangover primer by Too Faced. This is what I always use, and whenever I do like first impressions or reviews of foundation, I definitely want to do my skincare routine like I normally would to give everything a fair shot, and because that's how I would go and wear the product throughout the day anyways. So I want to make sure that it works with the products that I use as a base. So I have two different foundations that I ordered from Ulta. I got the new NARS foundation, which is going to be its own separate first impression video. And then I also have the new Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage Foundation. So this is what I'm going to be using in the video today. I will get to that in a minute. So on my face, I just toned it, I just prepped it with my primer, and then now we're going to see how these Tarte Radiance Drops work. So it definitely has like a little, you know, stopper. I have a feeling a little bit is going to go a long way, so I just want to show you guys really fast. I took the teensiest amount of product right there, and it's definitely an oil. Like, I know it sounds weird to say like an oil can feel drying, but it definitely kind of has like that drying oil feeling to it. So yeah, I'm excited to use this on my face. I'm just going to apply this right now on top of my skin. I can see myself like mixing it in with foundation in the future, but for today I'm just going to go for it and just like pat it onto my face, and we'll see how this goes. So I took like the smallest amount, and I feel like my face is back to looking how it was right before I toned it, which I'm not super mad about because my skin is like super dry, but yeah, definitely greasy piggy feels. Alright, so on the battle for the foundation, I picked the shade 201 Fair Porcelain. It's so hard like picking your shade online, although I do think that this looks like it could be a good match for me. My face pulls a lot of redness, but I feel like I definitely have more neutral undertones. But here on the bottle, it says that it is a full coverage foundation and you can wear it for up to 24 hours just in case you need it. It says that it is a seamless matte finish. So someone with dry skin, this makes me worried. I haven't seen a ton of reviews on this, but I feel like I have seen other people with dry skin use this and like it, so that's why I was inclined to pick it up to try it out. It's supposed to be a breathable and comfortable formula, and it's supposed to be fade and transfer resistant. That is such a big claim to make. I will try to remember to do a transfer test with this foundation. And it is supposed to be oil-free, so that's great for people with oily skin, and it's not supposed to clog your pores. So I'm going to be applying my foundation today with my Eco Tools sponge. So I definitely have this mentioned in another video, so be sure to look out for it if it's up, and if it's not, it'll be up soon. Love vanilla Coke. I shouldn't be drinking soda, but like I said, it's been a crap-tastic day. Before we get started, I'm just going to put some NYX Jumbo Pencil in white into my waterline. And now I'm just going to go ahead and get started with this fountain. Oops, I don't think you're supposed to twist it. I feel like I just almost, oh, I'm so surprised. It's a pump. That makes me so excited when I saw it. I totally thought it was going to be something I had to dump on my hand. And I was kind of like automatically annoyed. That's why I tried like twisting it and almost broke the cap. So yay, I'm so excited. It's a little pump. And it's definitely a thicker foundation. So I'm gonna start with this and see how far I get with it. I definitely have a feeling a little bit is going to go a long way, and I probably pumped out too much. So, story of my life. So I'm just gonna try to do one side so you guys can see. And I definitely feel like this is a really good color match for me. I always get nervous with drugstore foundations because a lot of them pull pink and a lot of them oxidize and a lot of them are too dark for me. So I'm excited that this one seems to be a decent match. It does seem like it would dry down rather quickly, so that's something to keep in mind. All right, so it's not looking super terrible, but if my skin was in any worse condition, this foundation would look like complete shit on it. So here you guys can kind of see the difference. This side definitely looks a lot more flawless, and I did a really great job of covering up a lot of redness that I have. And then, as I said again, this looks like a pretty good match. So let's go ahead and finish up the rest of our face. So my day started with my dog that is most definitely potty trained and should know better and hasn't had an accident in the house in about 1.5 years because she's like 2 years old. She pissed on the carpet, actually like right there this morning. Don't know why she did it. I think it's because I slept a little bit too long, and when I was in the bathroom, my bathroom's like right behind me, I feel like she just couldn't hold it any longer. So like I feel like I can't be like that mad at her because I slept too long. I also haven't been sleeping, that's another thing. I fell asleep for like 30 minutes before my husband had to get up, and then I couldn't fall back asleep until like 9, somewhere between like 9:30 and 10 o'clock in the morning. And then I accidentally fell asleep for 2 hours. So I feel like that's what did it. I was totally planning on getting up. I was just so exhausted. And then I was watching Friends and fell asleep on accident. So I feel like I can't get like too mad at her for doing that. It was just an annoyance. But I'm sure it was annoying for her to not be able to go outside like she's supposed to. So yeah, I haven't really been sleeping that well. And on top of it, my cat decided to gorge himself and throw up all over the carpet in the hallway over there. So I've been doing a lot of animal cleanup today. And like I mentioned, it's been raining, so our backyard is literally like a mud pit, so it's really difficult for my dogs to go to the bathroom outside anyways. So I'm just going to take a teensy bit more foundation for my nose. I can totally tell if my skin was seriously, if I didn't exfoliate it, or if it was any more dry, this foundation would not work for me. It's already starting to pick up on my nose. Maybe it has something to do with the radiance drops that I used. I feel like that would help it. It definitely has a nice glow, and I think that is from the radiance drops, but with the product not really wanting to stick to my nose, I wonder if the drops had something to do with that. I feel like the product didn't really spread that evenly on my forehead. My forehead is definitely the most telling because that's my biggest problem area. So I'm going to zoom you guys in really fast. So as you guys can see, it does look like pretty even coverage. Looks like it could settle into some fine lines if you don't set it right away. I'm really happy with how well it covered up my acne, but down here, my dry spots, it definitely looks like it's clinging. And then my forehead, see if you guys can sort of see what I mean by it's like patchy and a little bit uneven looking. But that's only if you're really close up to it, I feel like. So I don't have new brow product or concealer, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna set my face with this because I like to give everything a fair shot. So I'm just gonna use, I know it's an e.l.f. container, but it's the RCMA No Transfer Translucent Powder, no color. So I'm gonna set that, I'm gonna do my concealer and my brows, and I will be right back. I'm gonna eat, and then we'll see how the foundation kind of held up after being on my face for about a half hour. All right, you guys, so I'm not happy with how my concealer is reacting with the foundation slash the radiance drops. I just want to zoom you guys in so you can see it. Like right here, it's like starting to crumble, and it's like picking up product around my nose. And I feel like redness is peeking through because I just feel like it's moving the product around instead of blending it into my skin. Even though I'm simply using patting and pouncing motions, I'm not really dragging the product, but I still feel like it's picking up with the sponge, like right there. Like I just feel like I just removed product from my face. So I'm feeling that a lot of this has to do with the radiance drops. So I think I'm just going to stick to using them in places where where I'm like more dry, or like where I want the radiance, because putting it all over I think was a mistake. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. And then also when I was putting my brows on, I just used a pencil and it was moving the foundation around, and it was like also crumbling up around my brows. So I'm not sure again if it's the foundation that's just crumbly, but I will be willing to bet it mostly has to do with the oil that I put on under, even though I didn't really put it by my under eyes. So I don't know. That's the downside of doing a bunch of first impressions all at once. You don't really know like what product is causing the reaction. All right, I'm gonna finish powdering and then I'll be back. Okay, you guys, I messed up. I set my whole face with powder, which I wasn't supposed to do because I have a cream contour kit that I was supposed to test out. So I'm just gonna have to save it for another video. But money saving tip, at TJ Maxx and Marshalls, they have a lot of Anastasia products. So I picked up the cream contour kit and the powder kit. I got the cream contour kit in Fair. It's $18, which I believe the original one was $42 or $43. So it's quite the bargain and discount. Basically, from what I understand, they're redoing their packaging. So that's why they have so many of them over at TJ Maxx and Marshalls. Pro tip, make sure you inspect, like really inspect the products before you go in line to purchase them, because I've seen products destroyed, I've seen people swatch stuff, so make sure you really hold it up to the light, because I almost got one, and then when I was doing like this in the light in the store, basically, I did notice that someone swatched the light shade, so I was able to find one in my shade range that wasn't touched. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to save this for another video, another day. But I do have the powder one. Now, unfortunately, they did not have any in the fair shade. So that was like really frustrating to me that all they had was medium to tan and then deep to dark. I think that that's great that they had the other shades, but it's just frustrating when you can't find your own shades. I went back a couple different times and they never seemed to have the powder in the fair. So this is what medium to tan looks like. I do think that there are colors in here that can work for me. I'm gonna try using maybe this one because this looks pretty taupey for contour, and then I might try highlighting under my eyes a little bit with this, and we'll see how it goes. Pretty powdery. I have never used Anastasia products, like besides her brow products. So I'm excited to try these out. A little bit goes a long way. So even that little bit of powder was just way too much. And it's breaking up with my foundation. So I really have a feeling like that oil, like the radiance drops, mess with my foundation, or this foundation is actually that terrible. Honestly, I want to say it's a mixture of both. So when you have dry skin and you're using powder on top of foundation or powder on top of powder, it's best to just like sort of pat it instead of swiping it, because you can disrupt the product. And if I do swipe, I like barely have the bristles touching, but it's still can still make it look really bad. I'm like not happy at all with how this contour powder is sitting on top of the foundation. I'm like really just disappointed, because this, even with me barely dabbing this, it's eating off my forehead. So like right up in here, if you guys can kind of see how patchy and uneven the contour is, like thank God I'm literally washing this off once I'm done filming it, because it would be so embarrassing to have to go out with makeup like this on. And also you guys can see after I powdered the foundation how it started to break up around my nose. It just looks really dry. I can't fault it too much for looking dry because it is a matte foundation and I do have dry skin. And I feel like it's already wearing off on my chin, and it's definitely clumped up like right here in that spot on my chin. I'm just not happy with how this is wearing. All right, so I just put the rest of my makeup on, which is just blush and highlight. So I'm wearing the combo of the Dose of Colors Mirror May and the Ofra Cosmetics Glazed Donut by Nikki Tutorials. But I feel like my pores just look huge, which totally contradicts what I said at the beginning of the video when I was testing out that mask, because I feel like my pores aren't that big and I feel like they are never really this noticeable, and they definitely look smaller after using that mask. So I honestly feel like it's a combination of the drops in the foundation. But anyways, moving on. This isn't a necessarily new product to me, but it's a new shade, and I haven't honestly used this product in probably like close to 5 years. This is a matte paint pot in soft ochre. Normally I get it in Painterly, but I wanted to try this shade out. So what I'm going to do is just take a dome shaped brush. So I have my Real Techniques, I think this is like a deluxe crease brush, and I'm just going to go ahead, pick it up and apply a little bit over my lids. Normally I set with foundation or concealer, but I just wanted to I wanted something different, and I wanted to get back into the paint pots again, so I figured why not, because once again, I like these coupons that companies do literally ruin me, because that's when I start adding unnecessary stuff to my bag. Like this paint pot, I didn't really need it. It's been a long time since I've used one, so I was really curious to see like the formulation was different or anything like that. So this doesn't exactly blend into my skin tone like I hoped it would. Before I would use the Painterly paint pot, and I was really happy with that. I'm just gonna go in with my finger and see how it applies. I feel like before they would apply a lot more effortlessly than they are now. And I also feel like it's not as opaque as it used to be. Like I said, maybe it's the shade. I've never used the shade, but the Painterly paint pot, you barely had to use any product and it would easily go on and cover right away. And I'm not really liking, I feel like this is almost like a greasy texture to it. Like I even feel like this applied patchy. Like I don't, what is like life's deal with me today? I don't know. I feel like I just applied so much to my eyelids. Like that's crazy. I'm really disappointed right now in how this is going. So I'm just gonna set that really fast with translucent powder because it is tacky, but at the same time I can tell it's going to crease. So I'm gonna try to go on top of that with some powder. All right, so far I feel like the paint pot is going to go back. I have a feeling the foundation might go back, but I want to give it more of a try before I make a final decision on it. Now I'm gonna dip into the Morphe 24G Grand Glam palette. This is still a really new palette to me. I used it once, and I do have a review on it, so I'll be sure to link that, and then also the tutorial that I use this palette for. But I still feel like I need to use it more before I decide how I truly feel about it. I really like to give things a decent shot before I decide if I'm like writing it off or not. So I'm gonna go into creamer on this fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna put that into my crease. You can't really like notice anyways because that soft ochre paint pot, I'm just like not happy with it. It's just crazy because Nikki Tutorials is like, I feel like she's super pale like I am, and that's the color she uses for her paint pots. And it looks good. I don't know, guys. All right, so now I'm gonna go in with Spiffy. I'm gonna put that into the crease, a little bit on the lower lid. I feel like this looks so muddy, and I feel like it's from the damn paint pot. Oh my god. This is gonna be so embarrassing to put up. All right, so next I'm gonna use Brew. I'm gonna keep this like really simple and sweet today, mostly because I'm not happy with how these shadows are performing. Like, thank God I've already used this palette once on its own, or else I would totally have a negative connotation for this palette right now. Basically just swirling this around in circular motions, briefly putting it into my crease, but mostly focusing it on the outer third. And then I'm gonna go back with the big fluffy brush and just kind of blend everything together and hope it turns out okay. Guys, I literally have a cramp in my hand from trying to blend this to make it look decent. It's just not happening. All right, so for highlight, I'm gonna take Glaze and I'm gonna put that on my brow bone. And this is definitely a nice shade. I like this. It's nice to have like a highlight shade like this because I was nervous it might be a little bit too dark for my skin tone to be a highlight, but it's nice to have like a goldeny highlight that actually works for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that in the inner corner as well. And then, even this, like this looks like it skipped everywhere, even though I just spent so long trying to blend it, and my eye is like really bloodshot, so this kind of hurts. All right. So for the lid topper, I'm going to use Glossy, and I'm just going to apply that with my finger. So when I apply shadows with my finger, I basically drag it almost to the outer third, but that's kind of where I cut it off. And then I do go back with the big fluffy brush and just blend out the edges so it's nice and seamless, and there's not as noticeable of like a start point and end point with the shimmer color. By the way, a little bit goes a long way. Like that was like the leftover wiped off on my finger and I barely touched the pan. I just want to intensify the inner corner highlight a little bit more, so I'm just going to go in with my pinky. Just like that, and my concealer is literally crumbling as I did that. Alright, I'm going to put mascara on and then be back. As you guys can tell, I'm like so excited about this video. I did it. Finished my makeup. I can literally see lines from that contour. Alright, so for my lips, I just use my nude stick pencil in Whisper. I absolutely love this thing. It's amazing. I feel like it's like a really good nude for me and my skin tone. So let's wrap this disaster up, shall we? So it's really interesting how like one or two products can lead to an entire train wreck of your face. That is why it is so good to practice your makeup when you're at home, when you get new products, so you don't have to walk out the door looking like this. All right, so the Radiance Drops. Not going to ever apply them or use them ever again how I did today. I can't even see myself mixing them into foundation, really. I mean, this seems like this would be the perfect foundation to mix it in with. I could just see a lot of separation and disaster from doing that. I think I might strategically place the radiance drops on places I want to look more glowy, so like the high points of my face, or if I'm going for like a more natural glowy look. But I could see, like, I would still keep this product for summer when I'm wearing more like t-shirts and tank tops, stuff like that, and using it on my body. So like as a shimmer on my collarbone, on my shoulders, just have like a nice glow on the body. I think that that's really what I'm gonna like this product for. So there are other ways I can use this, and I definitely want to try it more ways before I knock it a complete fail. Next, the foundation. I don't generally have high hopes for when I use this again with like my actual normal routine skincare. It is a matte foundation, so it's all like automatically setting you up for failure if you have dry skin. However, like I feel like whether you have dry skin or oily skin, you should be able to wear any foundation and have it look decent. Like for example, if you have oily skin, in a perfect world, a dewy foundation should be able to look nice on you, just like if you have dry skin, a matte foundation should still be able to look nice. I just feel like my skin is way too dry for it right now. I still feel like I'm gonna have issues with it breaking up and not sticking in places and making my forehead look flaky. I feel like I'm still gonna have that same issue when I wear this a different time, but I will say it is full coverage, so it covered a lot of redness in my acne spots. And I do feel like it is a really great shade for me. Again, it's 102 Fair Porcelain. It's hard to find foundations at the drugstore that actually match super pale people. Now, it did say that it was transfer proof, so I have to say it actually is pretty transfer proof, but right here in the creasing, like in the middle of my sleeve, you can see that some foundation rubbed off there. But overall, it's not completely terrible. And I can see that it rubbed off on my face because I see some peakness and redness peeking through there. And then where I had the blemish bully, it's definitely clingy and flaking and peeling off my face where I had this. So again, for super dry skin, and if you're using any kind of drying treatment, this foundation is just going to like ball up and roll off your face quite literally. And I also feel like the foundation didn't mix the best with my NARS Radiant Creamy I also feel like this didn't exactly mix the best with my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. So that's, I don't know. I have a feeling this is gonna end up going back, but I do wanna give it another chance. What else did I use today? The paint pot. Definitely going back. My eye look is a disaster. It might not look that bad on camera. You guys might be saying, girl, it looks freaking terrible. It was very greasy on my eyelids. It didn't want to blend. It wasn't opaque. It was very sticky. Like, it's just not the same formula of paint pot that I did use years ago. Like, I'm really disappointed in this because I was really hoping to get back into it. I'm not happy with the application of my eyeshadow whatsoever because of this product, even though I set it with a translucent powder. The Morphe palette, I do like this. I don't think it's gonna be like a new ride or die, but like this Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe, my favorite palette, if I can only pick one palette for the rest of my life, it would be this palette. I don't see that happening with the 24G. I do think that it's really nice, but again, I'm more of a cool tone fan for eyeshadow, so it's still just like an adjustment of me getting used to the warmer tones. The formula is a lot different than the earlier Morphe palettes. They're a lot creamier, they blend a lot easier, it's effortless, but with the paint pot, it was just a disaster on my eyes, but I am happy with the shadows that I used today and the color palette that I picked. I'm just, that paint pot, man. I think that was it. That was like really all the new products. Oh, the contour palette. I definitely need to try out the cream contour and then the powder contour. I need to give that a second shot with my normal foundation and normal like routine on my face. That's what makes it so difficult doing like a full face, the first impressions, because you know, like once you have something down, you can pretty much tell right away if the new product is working really great for you or if the new product is a disaster. When you do what I kind of did today, it's kind of hit and miss and you need to go back and figure out what the underlying issues are. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this. I know it was a long video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you can appreciate craptastic days, and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.